Superman, directed by James Gunn, was an enjoyable movie for the most part. It doesn't do anything groundbreaking, but it has a few unique touches that I was definitely a fan of. I really appreciate that it didn't go for the full origin story approach again and instead started with a lot already established. I mean, even younger kids are familiar with some version of Superman's origin story, so there's no need to retread it. And for anyone who isn't as familiar, the film does do a good job of including callbacks and visual cues to fill in those gaps without over-explaining. Before I get into the character of Superman in this movie, I'll start off with this. One of the things that I and a lot of fans were worried about going in was just how many supporting characters there seemed to be from the trailers. But to be fair, the movie does balance them quite well. The cast doesn't feel overwhelming and everyone serves a purpose for the most part. Hawkgirl, played by Isabella Merced, was maybe the only one who didn't really stand out much to me, at least compared to the others. She's one of the metahumans mentioned in the movie, but her role felt a little underdeveloped. But I guess it's a good thing because then it would have felt a little bit too crowded. But with that said, it's been confirmed that she'll appear in Peacemaker Season 2 along with Guy Gardner and Maxwell Lord. So maybe that's where they get deeper into her character. Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner didn't really do it for me in the trailers, but for some reason he just ended up working in the movie. Nothing that stood out massively, but I haven't got any real complaints either. But Mr. Terrific, played by Eddie Gathegi, might have been the biggest surprise. I wasn't familiar with the character at all before the trailers, but I can see him becoming a fan favourite in this new DCU. He had one of the best scenes during this movie, which I won't spoil, but overall I'm looking forward to more of this character in future movies. The rest of the cast were decent, some obviously better than others, but no major issues for me whatsoever. This version of Lois Lane was great to watch minus a few nitpicks that might go into spoilers, so I'm not going to mention it. Regardless of all that, she definitely plays an important role in the plot, but it never feels forced or like she's just there to tick a box. She actually contributes a whole lot in this movie, and her dynamic with Clark feels natural in my opinion. Now speaking of Clark, we've got to talk about Superman himself, and since he's the focal point of the movie, he's the one that needs to be portrayed as accurately as possible. Now, after all the on-screen versions of Superman, especially Henry Cavill since he's the most recent on the big screen, a lot of Snyder fans weren't too happy about the change of actors. What made it even crazier was that Cavill was teased in Shazam and Black Adam, which led Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to hype up a potential Superman vs Black Adam fight. Cavill even posted a short video confirming his return, but obviously that didn't last too long. So when David Corenswet was announced as the new Superman, there was definitely some hesitation. Not really towards him as an actor, well maybe a tiny bit, but more about the direction that DC was taking. A lot of people were ready to write it off before even seeing the trailer, and some still did even after the trailer came out. After all the mess with the Snyderverse and everything that came afterwards, I was actually ready for a new take, something cleaner and more focused if you know what I mean, just a proper reset, and I think David Corenswet handled it well. He brought that calm, hopeful energy that you expect from Superman, but still felt like his own version, not just a copy of Cavill or Reeve. This movie's version of Lex Luthor didn't stand out to me at first, but there were moments that changed my mind pretty quickly. He didn't go full cartoon villain, but he did come close here and there, which to be fair is kind of expected in a comic book movie, especially one directed by James Gunn. So yeah, that's more of a nitpick than a real complaint. I was worried I was going to get Guardians of the Galaxy vibes, but that wasn't the case. I felt fully immersed in the world without it coming off like a Marvel clone or anything like that. It has its own identity, taking some inspiration from current times but still keeping that classic comic book tone. It is still early days, but I can say that this version of Superman feels like a good starting point. And after everything DC's done over the last few years, and I'm talking about the reboots, the cancellation, the confusion, I think this was exactly what was needed, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know down below what you thought about the movie and whether or not you agree with anything I said. Thanks so much for watching the video if you made it this far into it, and please like and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Anyway, that's all I've got for now, so I'll catch you in a bit.